Alright, so part 90 here. This is the final version of the final boss. The next part 91, is the final piece of the walkthrough. It's the credits piece. So here in this fight, I don't know that many of my comments will say more than just watching the fight through, watching how I fight it. There are, I guess, a few things to note. The beginning of the fight starts out, you're fighting along, you end up getting crippled, and then you end up getting picked back up like a little side story piece. It's very short, very reminiscent of Final Fantasy IV, which is, I'm pretty sure they took that from. Nonetheless, this boss has 3 different versions, and you'll see that once we get into the fight here. I'll probably talk for a little bit in the beginning of the fight, and then I'll cut off my commentary, because the fight just kind of proceeds similarly all the way through. I think he ramps up his damage as he goes, but Chaos Elgo is the name of the boss here, and he has 3 different versions he uses here. This is I'm not sure exactly what this version would be called. This is not holy or dark, but the other ones are, there's a holy version and a dark version. The holy version attacks with holy attacks, the dark version attacks with dark attacks. And clearly, if you're using a paladin and a dark knight, you need to be careful what you're hitting which version with, because they will have varying degrees of effectiveness. And it's a possibility that they will even cure certain versions. If you hit with a dark attack on the dark version of Elgo, that might cure it. I'm not sure. It at least does less damage. Flare is always a good choice to use. If you have Ultima, which I didn't go pick up Ultima, I know there's a side quest for Ultima. I didn't even look into it. I just went through the game as I kind of naturally would go through the game. Some of those optional quests and optional items I'm going to pick up after the game, after the full walkthrough is, well, not the full walkthrough, after this primary walkthrough is done. I'm going to go back through and fight some of those optional bosses and fight some of those, and get some of those optional items. But standard rules apply here. Make sure you got Mighty Guard up, get your haste on everybody. I would recommend hasting everybody. Here's the dark version, and you can tell it just looks evil, man. So there you go. The first time it goes to dark version, it cripples you, heals itself a little bit, and then you have your allies show up here, and they all kind of bless you with their good tidings. Do a little damage. It's not real damage, I don't think. Yeah, they don't actually do damage, they're just hitting it. But anyways, this fight is very long, so you're gonna need to use some mana items. Just expect to have to do that. That's just a given. Beyond that, it's a battle of just keeping yourself healed. Keeping yourself healed especially is rough. As the fight proceeds, the attacks get a little bit rougher. He starts hitting with stuff that's the higher end attacks more often. But really it's just a juggling of the holy and the dark elements. Now if you're just using various knights, you're not using a paladin or a dark knight, I imagine that would be it's a more neutral strategy, but not necessarily an easier one. It's an easier strategy to use, but not as effective of a strategy, because you're not getting to hit Elgo with his weaknesses. The nice thing about using a Dark Knight and a Paladin is you have the ability to, you know, cast or use the Ivory Slash and the Ebony Blade. And it's always nice to have Holy in your back pocket, though I don't use Holy very much in this fight because I'm constantly in need of healing. If you're in your upper 60s, lower 70s, this fight will be challenging but rewarding at the end. You're gonna win. If you're in the upper 60s, you probably shouldn't need to repeat it. You might. In the lower 70s, which is where I was, I found this fight to be pretty challenging, but at the same time, pretty easily doable. I don't think that I even really get to the edge of dying. There's been a few fights in the game where I got right there to the edge and then still survived. Flare's a good attack. I don't know if I mentioned this. Flare's a non-elemental attack, so Flare's a really good attack to use because no matter what version Elgo is in, Flare will hit. That black hole that you just saw him do, black hole will take off all of your buffs. So if you see the little buff screen here, oh, I guess that's it right there. There's nothing on. So you'll need to re-employ all of your buffs again, casting haste on everybody constantly. In the beginning I do it, but I'm not sure that I keep it up throughout the entire fight. That makes a paladin very, very beneficial, because a paladin can hit all of your guys with shell and protect right away. And if you have the fusion ability for the Hastega, well, that's just going to be awesome for you. I don't, so I have to cast haste on all my guys. That's partly why I leave them hasteless through parts of this fight. This is the holy version though. Be careful of what you're attacking it with. Unless it's flare. Flare goes and goes. For the most part though, you just rinse and repeat. Know that the dark mode can cast black hole, and he only does it a couple times where he wipes out my buffs. There's white hole. I'm not sure that actually buffs him up. Oh, it looks like it did. He's flashing green now, so it heals him and gives him protect and shell, I would imagine. I guess I hadn't noticed that he did that before. So you can try dispelling that if you'd like to. I don't. I didn't ever need to. Just keep going with cure and buffs, and then keep going the damage. Eventually you'll win. Lots of HP. Expect this fight to be probably 20 minutes long or so. And then once you're finished there, you'll watch the end of the game, watch the credits, and that's it. So I'm going to bail out now of the commentary. It's been a good walkthrough. I'll sync up more on the credits. I'm not going to talk through them very much. I'm just going to kind of introduce them and then kind of shut up. There is a little piece I should mention before I go. There's a little piece here where you're going to have to run a bit after the fight. There is a little piece of playable ending once this boss is done. Luckily, it's not too tough. You'll get to a save spot really quick. You watch this piece of the walkthrough, watch the end of it, and you'll see what you have to do. You save the game there, and then after that, that's where the credits kick in. So we'll see you at the credits.